Good evening. Welcome to the Board of Selectmen, September 8, 2014. And if you would rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, gentlemen, don't forget to sign the warrants. We'll get back to the meeting minutes a little bit later on. We have a request from the Housing Authority to waive permit fees. So Diane, you want to come on up? Good evening.
Good evening.
Have a seat, make yourself comfortable.
Okay.
Not the hot seat. The other one's the hot
The other
seat.
one?
That's right. You're in the easy one.
Oh, good.
So you're doing a little bit of remodeling on 95 Jewett Street.
Yes, that's a barrier-free unit. We have a wheelchair-bound woman that lives there, and the bathrooms, there's 2 bathrooms in there and a kitchen, and they were ADA compliant when they were built, but they really needed some modernization.
Okay. So the permit fees are normally $462, and waiving those requires an action by this board. So, any questions?
Hey, Diane, I'm usually pretty good at understanding some of these terms. What is barrier-free?
Barrier-free is a handicapped unit.
That's what barrier-free means.
There's nothing underneath the cabinet, so they can pull a wheelchair right up and cook and do dishes.
Excellent. No, I'm all for it. I think that what we're trying to do and what they're doing is makes just good community service sense to do this.
Any questions? Comments?
Yeah. This is, I'm not really sure how your agency works, but you're a state-funded agency. So who are we giving the break to? Is it you, or is the state just gonna pay this money anyway?
Well, they gave me so much, and right now it's
Okay.
at 59.8, I think, if I remember correctly. So every cent I have is going into the remodel. That's why I was hoping for the permit waiver.
Okay. So it's just if we waive it, it will allow you to do a little more work with
Yeah.
what they've given you.
Exactly.
And so in that way, I guess the savings would be going to the rent payers that are there. 'Cause
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's what I'm saying, I don't know exactly how the whole thing works, but,
I know, because it's such a
you know,
cloudy mess.
the state isn't always so generous to us, so I'm sorry, I'm just being a little cautious and wanna know if.
Well, I
who's getting
appreciate
this
that.
break.
Nothing's
If
going back
you-
to anybody. We're gonna
Okay,
spend
if
it all
you-
right there.
Yeah, okay,
Good to hear.
thank you.
Any further questions?
Chair, I move that we waive the permits for the remodeling over at 95 Jewett Street for the Georgetown Housing Authority as submitted.
I'll second that.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank
All right.
you.
You are all set.
Thank you so much.
You
Good
are
luck.
welcome. Good luck on the remodel.
Thanks.
Thank you, gentlemen. So, Janet, would you like to come up? We have our town clerk here. You wanna-
Janice.
Janice, I'm sorry.
Sorry, between the two of us.
I know,
She's looking at me,
Janet,
I'm
Janice, you
she's
know, like-
Janice.
Come on up. So,
Another one in
That's
there.
not the hot seat.
we're discussing, take the left side. We are discussing alternate posting methods for posting public meetings. That's what we're discussing here. So we had some discussion on this last meeting, and we had some questions. And basically, the way we read it, and we're just kind of looking for clarification, and obviously input from you, but the way we were reading it, it seemed like if we were going to do an alternative method, we still also had to do the traditional posting method.
No.
That is not correct?
Nope. If we do the alternate method, just choose that alternate method.
Okay.
You don't have to keep doing it the way we do it.
We don't have to do the other one?
No.
Okay. Because we were a little gray on that, just the way the language was reading. Was that what you
Yeah, I
guys
got it
recall?
here. No, that's really the way we read it. but,
No, I
you know,
called them, and they said no. If
Okay.
you choose to do it on the website, then that's the only requirement, would be the website.
And then we would just have to file with the AG's office.
Right, to
what-
let them know.
What we're doing, and then
What
they
our
would
method.
send us back an acceptance of
I
that or
don't
whatever.
think they even have to accept, I think as long as we let them know. It's
Okay.
not really their approval, it's just
Okay.
letting them know.
So it says we shall file, with the AG written notice of the alternative method that we're using. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I spoke with legal counsel, and it's one or the other.
Okay.
You can do as many as you want,
Okay.
but one has to be the designated official posting.
Okay. All right. Gents, any questions for Janet or Mike?
If I recall, the conversation was, I think there's a desire from this board to do as much as we can electronically to allow more and more opportunity for folks to just go online and look at agendas and stuff like that. But we also were concerned that for the folks that don't have computers at home and aren't adept at going on websites and stuff, which is still like a pretty good population, believe it or not. Our concern was that we were going to just go to the website, which would be great. I'm all for that, 110%. And the challenge that I understand that you guys have is the work to do both, right? And that's what I just wanted to get an understanding. 'Cause
I mean, it's extra steps because now we have to print out every email that we do get and make sure we get that stamped and posted outside. But that would not be the official board, so if something didn't get out there, it doesn't get out there. And with the electronic, it's not the time that they send the meeting to me in an email, it's the time that I get it posted on the website. So if they send it to me at 5 minutes of 4, and just say someone goes home at 3:30, somebody goes home sick, and it comes in at 5 minutes of 4, and it doesn't get on there, they have to reschedule that meeting. So by sending it, it's their responsibility to make sure that it gets up on that website. And if they do, and we go electronic, it's gonna be their responsibility to get on that website before they hit send and send that to me to make sure there's a room available for them. Because they're not gonna be bringing it to me anymore to check.
So do you, I think legally it's 48 hours for.
It's 48
right.
hours, and, I mean,
And-
we have no problem doing it, but, you can't send it to me at 5 minutes of 4 and expect us to,
Yeah,
get
no,
that
I
email
understand.
and get it up there. There's gonna have to be a time,
I would
you know.
suggest that we try to work with the committees and boards and departments to make it a mandatory 72-hour notice to get it to at least validate and confirm that it will be posted. Anything
Yeah.
beyond that, there's a chance that it may not be posted.
yeah, and it, like, again, up to them to make sure they go back to that website and make sure it's there.
Right. But that doesn't, but going back to the posting outside there, is there a way to actually just print the calendar, agendas on the website and put it out front? Because I don't want to create any work, but if there's something as simple as just printing the agendas that are already posted on the website and then just printing those off and putting them out front. So there's no extra work. That's what I'm just trying to find an easier way to do it.
I don't know.
Well, you could print the calendar, but I don't. which
It's
would
not
only
gonna
list
give you the
but it
agenda.
wouldn't be the agendas, because you have to open each day to see
You'd
the
have to, yeah.
agenda.
You'd have to open that meeting.
To look at the
Yeah, so
agenda,
you
yeah.
couldn't just do one calendar that
It would show
have-
the calendar, but it's not gonna show you the agenda.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen what it looks like, so. I mean, I guess it's the same town calendar with a link in it, right?
Yeah.
That just links to a file share, so. Well, our hope is that we could try to do both, and I just wanted to get a sense of, is that feasible, and maybe you can
I
try
mean, you
it,
could
see
try
how it
it,
works out.
if
and-
it takes, if it takes a lot of our time, because, I mean, we are part-time, so if it takes a lot of our time, then,
Yep.
because we maintain a book, the calendar, now we'll be doing the agendas, outside, and, I mean, we get them put up there, and 2 minutes later, they call and go take it down. We go back, we take it off the website, we take it off the board, we take it off the calendar, so it's like,
Why, because they have a change on their agenda or something like that?
no, people just book it because they're afraid they're not gonna get a room, and then they go, no, don't have a quorum.
Yep.
So it's like they put them up, they take them down, it's like, it happens a lot.
Okay.
But it's just now we'd have to print all the emails and stamp the email, and it may not match the time that it's going on the website. You know what I'm saying? If we put it on, if we take it off and we stamp it, town clerk, like we were looking at the stamp out there, it says 4 o'clock. If it doesn't, it's not gonna match the website, cause like unless we sit there and go, post on the website, quick, stamp it. They're not gonna, the time's not gonna match. Or we don't stamp what's out there.
Well, it's not legally required that we put it out there, so it
It's
doesn't have to
not.
be, it doesn't have to be stamped.
Cause I do have to still print one for myself too. So we keep copies.
Can we
in the
try
book.
it and see if it's not too much of an undue burden on your team? I know it's only you and your,
We can try it, but we have to pick our method. I mean, we can try it, but we have to pick which way we're gonna do it. And whichever one, if it's too much, then the one that we don't pick is gonna go away. You know what I'm saying? It's like we can't say, let's go both right now. It's like we have to pick which way we're gonna do it. And I don't think it's something we're gonna start tomorrow, because we need to get out all the information to all the committees, get them all emails, right? Don't we have to get them emails?
Yes.
That's the idea, yes.
If I may, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
I can see the problem that Jan was relating to, and about perhaps people coming in late. If it happens now, they know they personally get here and they know. If they send it by email, I don't know how you know that, other than she returns back to them, which is that I got it, which would be added work. I think if what we're looking for is to get them both ways, I fail to see why that can't just be up to the people that are running the meetings. If they've got the agenda to post it, I believe they all must have websites on the town, and to just post it there. I believe we have pages that have agendas, don't we, on
Right,
that?
but not all boards have access, because we only
But
have so
but
many
they would be getting
access.
that access.
Right,
So what
but
I'm
we
saying is
would have to
we would
purchase
leave the
for-
electronic end of it up to the boards to get it up there. It would be an extra effort to get the agendas out there, but the system would continue as is out there. That's what I'm saying.
So
If,
get-
if we can make it the effort for them to get it to her, then why can't they just put it on their website under their agenda column?
They don't have access to the website. Well,
And
It's
we're not
only,
getting them that with the email, there's no way.
No, there's only so many slots that have
right,
access
we
to
have
the
like
license.
8 people there under a license that can access, so it's like the main departments in town hall have it.
And so,
all the
who are them, who are those people?
It'd be like Concom has it, the planning board, our office, the treasurer's
School
office.
building.
so who wouldn't have it, right? So like the
I think
Historic
we-
Commission,
historic.
Economic Development,
Probably all the small boards.
Parks and Recs, and so some of those folks, right?
Right.
And,
The majority of the committees would not have it.
right, and all the subcommittees too.
And it is expensive I don't know, but I believe we looked into it once and it was pricey to add more users on.
So,
I mean,
so the way I understand it works, you get an email with an agenda, and hopefully they get it to you in time. You then have to post it on the website, so you'll do that yourself. Is that how? So you'll get an agenda emailed to you, and you will put it on the calendar?
We put it in the calendar, yeah, and we'd have to copy and paste that agenda over to the calendar.
Right, so now you'll be able to click a link and you'll see that calendar
Yeah,
agenda item,
I mean, we
right?
know how to do it, it's just that they have to make sure they get it to us, because it's their responsibility
Yep.
to make sure it comes to us on time.
Right,
Because we get some now, it's like 5 minutes to spare for 48 hours, and they're running, and then they come to my office and go, oh, they're on vacation? So they run it up to Janet, and she does it, but if they're sending them in emails,
yep,
they're gonna have to get them to us sooner. You know,
Yeah,
not
that's why
wait
we're
till the
thinking
last, the very
72
last minute.
hours at least, or,
Oh, then it's not
I mean, we
guaranteed.
can try doing that, they legally have 48 hours, but,
Yeah, but procedurally,
Right.
from a process standpoint, that's fine. If they want to get it in after 72 hours, they're not guaranteed that it's going to get posted because
and
of,
they're gonna need to check on that calendar before they hit send and send it to me and make sure that room's available, cause right now they come, we have a calendar on the wall, we can look at the calendar and see what's available, but if it comes an email, they're not gonna be able to look at that calendar. Today, we had to have one committee change 3 of their meetings because they booked in a room that was already booked by somebody else. So if they send an email, now we take it and we send the email back, oh, sorry, there's no room. By the time they read it again and send it back, they would have to redo it and send it back to us again. So that's why they're gonna need more time, because, and they're gonna have to look and see what's available for rooms.
your comment?
Just 2 quick points. I think 72 might help because a lot of times I take a half a day, I have to take the morning off to get, if someone's, because we're trying to push the 48, so people are taking them, tell them, work, hey, I'm showing up at 9:30, I gotta make. So you might see less people going to that 48-hour window because they can email it at the meeting. And the other issue is maybe she can determine the room. So people put the agenda, you don't have the authority to decide what room
To
that
put
meeting-
people in rooms now. No, because some
or
people.
the board requests whatever.
Some people
room.
want to be on TV, some don't. They pick their room. They tell me what room they
Well,
want if it's
just-
available.
Just to be totally, fully disclosure here, all the rooms are gonna be wired for television soon. So that's gonna be a non-factor.
No,
If they wanna be on
pick
TV
their
or
room, 'cause
not,
some
they're
of
gonna
them
be on
want-
TV.
I like
yeah.
to pick our room too, but like you said, it's.
But some of them want the school, so if they send me an agenda, I'm gonna say you're on the 3rd floor, we don't wanna be there, we wanna be at the school, we wanna be at the library, so it's
Yeah.
up to them to pick a room.
Yeah.
Okay, so this certainly could get complicated if we make it. There should be a simple app.
Let's create one.
You have a new business idea, buddy.
No, I have it at
Calendar
work because I
posting.
have thousands of people trying to.
I
get
mean,
conference or
we're
something.
willing to give it a try on the website, but some of the responsibility is gonna have to go back to the boards and committees.
Yeah.
You know, to make sure
Well-
there's a room and to make sure we get it on time and to go back and check and make sure, because if we're not here and they notice it's not up there, they can't have the meeting. It's gotta be
So
It's
canceled.
like if someone wanted to, excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead.
If someone wanted to send you one tomorrow, thinking you're gonna be there,
Right.
because they don't know that you're gonna be at the school all day long.
Right.
But you can have, like, on your email, you know, an away message.
Yeah,
Your
if
office
you're not
is
in the
closed.
office.
Right.
And that
You
can be set
I mean,
up.
we can do that, but when they send it and then it comes back and says, uh-oh, they're not there, it's too late.
Then they're gonna know, but I mean, that's,
Mhm.
yeah, if they haven't checked ahead.
Well, I mean,
We
that's-
could do that so that people.
Yeah.
Then they know either, well, they could come down and see me, if it was somebody that had to, or, I don't know.
So we'll do all electronic, no more walking them down to me, because now if they walk them down to me, then I have to scan them to get them in. So it's all electronic. No
Uh,
more paper copies,
Okay, so, Mr. Chair, if you don't mind, so,
because now I have to scan them in, I have to upload them, it's
so
like,
I think we have to just come up with a pretty simple process, right? Then there needs to be, with input from your department, input from Mike and ours, just to make sure that it makes sense and it's not undue. I guess the only issue I have is it possible to still put them out, if they're not posted? Just take the agendas from people's emails and put them out on the
Print them off
bulletin-
and put them out on the bulletin board.
And we'd love for you to try and just let us know if it becomes way too much work, then,
because I'm also gonna have to I am gonna put a note out on that board that says, this is not the official,
Right.
see
If
the
we go that
website,
route.
because if there's something missing out there, I mean, if we forget to print something and it's not out there,
Right.
it's not the official
Right.
site, so we would put it out there, this is not the official, see the town website and put the website address there. For some reason it didn't get out there, then they could still have the meeting if it's on the website, but you're not gonna see it. It's just that extra step that sometimes might get missed.
Well, one other possible option might be if we kept the board out front as the official, and then maybe talk to the cable folks and see if they could put them up on the website for us, the agendas on the website.
You know, the real solution is to put an electronic board out there, a touch screen. I mean, that would be the ideal, and it would link right to our calendar. And I think that it might be something to consider.
Yeah, that's true too.
You know, they make weatherproof touchscreen if it's, you know, if it's not too expensive. If it's a few $100, $1,000 or so, maybe it's something to consider. So at this point, people are just touching and can see the agendas themselves. That's updated right from the website.
Yeah, that's certainly an option as well.
Would you look into that?
Yeah, let's take a look at that and.
Don't get too excited, because sometimes these things cost crazy dollars.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. But
So it would be linked right to it, or would automatically go out?
it would
This-
be, yeah, you would have.
let's say you post it electronically, and then it would just be basically reading the website. Linked right to the website, so people can just go up and
Click
click
here
on
for
whatever
the
board.
town calendar, and then it would click.
Choose your board.
Choose your month, your week, your day, or whatever,
Yeah.
and then go right to the basically it's computer outside. So let's look into
That's
that
certainly an option too.
if it's not that expensive. I think it solves a couple of problems
Yeah.
for us. One, for the folks who don't have, you know,
Yes, if we don't mind trying it, but I think if we go electronic, we have to do all electronic, not
well that
half
would
paper, half electronic, and
it would remove the entire paper
exactly.
requirement. Well, which is not a requirement. It would be the service, put it that way. And for the people who come down and want to read the board, it's there. They just, you know, it's user-friendly, simple to use.
What, I'm trying to think, the original concept of what we're looking to accomplish. You know, we're looking to get it both ways, but are we looking to make it easier for people to find? Perhaps we're also looking to make it easier for boards and committees so that they don't have to run down here. So I think it's more, what are we trying to actually accomplish? And I think Mike put this forth, so I guess that's, might be the best place for me to ask. I mean, what was it? Was it to make it more available for people to find, or to make it easier for people to get it in? Because it sounds like from this side that it's gonna make it, not knowing which rooms are there and this and that it may not make it that much easier. And if it's,
The number one reason is because the board members can't get in during the times that the town clerk is open.
okay.
And so they prefer to just send an email. But the extra benefit is people they'll have the agenda in front of them electronically. They click on the calendar or the board's web page, and they can see the agenda also. It just makes for more transparent government. People will actually know what people are going to be talking about, and if they're interested in that item, they might actually come to the meeting.
I hear a lot of people complain that they didn't know that was on the agenda because they didn't look, right? And they didn't look because it wasn't that easy to access. So you go on the calendar, it just shows the time and the date. You know, I'm the same way. I gotta go get in my car, physically drive down to go see what the agenda is. I think an awareness thing, as a customer, as a public service, is probably the first and foremost thing on my mind. And I think that would help from an awareness standpoint. And then the second is just as important, is to streamline and make it as efficient as possible. Right, so there's the awareness and the efficiency.
Yep.
And you know, if there's a cost-effective way to make it all electronic for you, where there is no paper at all, I'd prefer to do that. And for for $1,000 computer, whatever it is, that might just cover the extra cost of you guys having to do that all year anyhow. So something to look at.
Okay. Any further questions? We're gonna have to dig into this a little bit more, but we appreciate you being here.
Yeah, that gives us some color. Gives me some color.
Yeah, we were
I mean,
just.
it's not something we're gonna start tomorrow.
Yeah, and we just, there are some options, but it's both constituent, communications and having more people have access to it, and then the other issue of having the volunteer boards be able to get it in.
Yep, and I understand that we're not here a lot of afternoons when they come down, or they wanna come down, but it just puts a little more on them too, so they have to understand that to be easier for them, they're gonna have to do a little more, just to make sure, like I said, make sure those rooms are there. Because once you start sending in an email and you're bouncing emails back and forth, if they're here at the window, we can tell them right now, hey, it's not,
Yeah, you don't have it available.
but,
Yeah, they
so
need to
it'll
look-
put a little more on them, but,
They need to simply look at the calendar before they
right.
put their
yep,
agenda.
before
in.
they hit send to me.
Right.
check
Yeah,
it.
I mean, because they can open it up and look and see what's already booked
Yeah.
or what's not booked.
If you find that app, we should get 2 copies, because we run the same problem with baseball games between GAA, non-GAA, park and rec, different fields, different age groups, different times.
Yep.
So people have no way to get on and say, when's my kid's soccer game on Saturday? They're always saying, if you had that app with the calendar, master calendar, people could
Yeah.
click and find out
Yeah.
what their schedule for all their kids are too, because
That'd
it's
be
constantly, it's all done manually.
I may go hire a couple kids to
Want to
write this.
reserve a tennis court?
Sell it.
Want to
That's what I'm
reserve a
saying.
tennis court or something like?
Yeah, we have a
Business
great,
idea.
I think it was written inside my office, but I know they have stuff like this out there.
Yep.
All right?
All right, great.
It's good.
Right,
Thanks,
so
Shannon.
we'll work on it with Mike, and
And don't forget primary days tomorrow, everybody. So is it 7 to 8?
7 AM to 8 PM
Okay, at Pembroke.
at Pembroke.
All right.
Well, we need a vote to change the posting method of the selectmen.
But are you gonna pick an effective date? Like if you vote, you,
Well, I don't think we need a vote, do we? Because we're not changing anything at the moment.
Well, let's do it at town meeting. Oh, we don't have a vote after, no, the election, right?
No, he means a vote to change
Is it?
the
to
posting.
change the
Yeah,
posting
but if we're
method.
not changing anything, we don't need to vote anything.
Well, you could make it effective October 1 or something like that.
I'm still not sure what we're decided we're gonna do.
Are we gonna
Yeah,
have
we haven't-
everybody with an email address by then?
Yes. Well, if the selectmen approve the email
That's in here, in this agenda
policy.
tonight. Well, I think we should look into what the
Oh, I thought
touchscreen
you
idea
meant
is.
Town vote, sorry.
No,
No, no.
Not yet.
I don't think we're taking any action on it tonight. Is there any deadline or any pressing issues? Just to keep it the way it is right now, we haven't changed anything, so there's nothing to vote on at this point.
Well, I think
Right.
there's two parallels. One is there an electronic solution to this fully, or is there an electronic with a paper? And if we can get a little bit better and you guys connected on what that process should look like to get out, then we can vote on something.
Right, but we're not in a
Not
position
tonight.
to vote tonight, though. Do we have anything? I mean, because we're not changing anything at this point, so it's still the board
Yep.
outside
Okay.
right now.
Don't worry, we'll get there.
Why don't we get, why don't,
We'll get
yeah,
there.
I'm thinking,
I mean,
why don't we
I wanna
get
get there
the
too. I just
email
wanna see
thing
if
up
there's
and
an
working? Yeah.
alternative.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll revisit this, and Mike, if you can kind of look into what it might cost to do an electronic.
You got a tablet for a
Version.
few $100s. The question is it, you gotta get one that's secure, weatherproof. That's the only thing we gotta consider. Yeah, so. I'm
That
not
board's
sure.
not weatherproof.
Well, yeah, the board's not, but,
No.
but whatever we put out there
Oh,
would have to
board
be.
is.
And no, inside it's all wet inside, the water runs in it.
Yep.
Yeah, no, we're just talking about like an electronic
Yeah,
keyboard that,
it would
or
have to be
whatever.
enclosed in something.
Yep.
Yep.
Everything's way more expensive than you ever think, so.
Trust me.
So we just.
Well, I mean, if anybody comes
I
up
hear
with
you.
anything,
Okay,
send me an email, we can,
Okay.
all right, we'll definitely revisit, so
See you tomorrow.
we'll see you at election day
see you
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Thanks,
Thanks. Have a nice evening.
You too.
All right.
All right, Jim Demento. Good evening. Park and Rec.
Do you need to be in the hot seat?
Gale Associates change order number 2, skate park, East Main Street. Mr. Jim Demento is present and accounted for. How are you?
Good, so,
We initiated a contract with Gale Associates earlier this year with listed certain meetings to be attended and certain work to be done. Those meetings went over and the scope of the work went over. Last meeting with the planning board is to remove the sidewalk, play around with the access going down the hill to the bottom of the hill, just try to save more trees, and that drawing's gonna have to be updated. It's a little bit of surveying to mark out some of the trees out. I think there was 2 additional meetings that originally they budgeted for 2 meetings. We went into 4 meetings with the Gale Associates. 4 letters, actually it was 4 letters in total explaining, remember the wetland issue about the water coming down the street and,
Oh, I remember it all very
yeah,
vividly.
so.
I
um,
do.
This is, so this is amendment number 2. Hopefully, we won't run into any problems with conservation, or I'll be here for amendment number 3. Hopefully, that won't be the case, so
So this is a $9,500 change order.
$9,500 change. The original scope of work, I think, was $3,200 or $30,000.
40,600.
Yeah, so.
Now it's 15,100.
That also includes the overseeing of the project, putting out the bid, bid documents and all, and such.
Okay. I don't have any questions. Either of you gentlemen?
Mike, have you had a chance to digest any of this?
Yes.
Does it make sense?
Yes.
It's the cost of torture.
And Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the project change order for the additional services authorization between the Georgetown Parks and Recreation Commission and Gale Associates as presented.
I'll second it.
All right, any further discussion?
If I may, this is close to 25% increase. Has their workload increased that much?
Yeah, I mean, the original thought was, that Lou had brought it up to a point that at that time when we did the original scope of work, it was, show me the water calculations and this project will get approved. Well,
And then
quite a bit of a couple months of work after that, they disputing the water calculations and all the other stuff, and ultimately, so, right, there's 4 meetings. I looked at it, probably 2 people at 4 meetings, you're probably figuring maybe $1,500, because they wrote a letter stipulating all the engineer writes them all these questions, they write it back, so there's a letter involved, there's 2 people coming to a meeting for so many hours. So trying to justify, I figured $1,500 times 4 is 6,000, and then there's additional 35, which is gonna be probably the design work that's remaining, remove the sidewalk, resurvey the bottom of the hill, move some things around, make out prints.
Didn't they do 3 or 4 plan changes too?
Yes,
Yeah.
there was
So
quite a
there was a
bit.
bunch of original documents that got
You're answering my
changed up.
question. I mean, that
Yeah.
was it. Like I say, it's a hefty increase
And
over the full amount.
There's probably another
Yeah.
35 emails going back and forth
Yeah.
that they're not like lawyers, I don't think they account for those by minute, but there
Yeah.
was quite a bit of conversations going back.
Yeah.
Well aware of many of the frustrations that you've been through.
Sure, no, I try to, like you said, whenever you get something like that, you try to do best to see if I mean, I do value engineering, so I try to see if it worked, try to see if I get the best bang for the dollar, so.
Mm.
I ran some numbers thinking, should I, probably not the time to start screaming at them. I think it's a fair, for the work done, it's a fair estimate. you know.
Okay.
The funds for these, this is not gonna put you in any jeopardy?
Well, let's, we continue to bring those funds down as we do more for engineering. No, I mean, it's always a case of what's going to be accomplished when we're finally done with all the permitting. It was, we budgeted somewhere around $50,000, and we're running much higher than that with the permitting phase.
Right.
So,
We're closer to 100, I think.
about 110. I
Is it
think with
110?
this will be about 110.
Okay.
So I'd like to stop the bleeding sooner than better.
Yeah.
Is there risk, I mean, in terms of going over the budget that you got?
No, I think we have approximately 290,000, I think, left in to accomplish, but it's like, what are we going to accomplish with that? More engineering takes place, I mean, we know we can't do everything. Remember, the idea was to permit everything that we wanted to design now, and so,
And
I
then
mean,
take it in chunks.
we've talked about what we would do
Yeah.
when the bid goes out, it's called add alternates, so You wanna make sure the bid gets accepted and have add alternates to bring you up to use the, appropriate money. It's a good time now because there's a number of people working in this area that might jump on this.
Are you bidding soon?
If we get through the Concom, we'd bid soon.
When's your Concom meeting?
Thursday.
This Thursday. Okay.
We were supposed to meet last month, they didn't have a quorum. So if by chance this went through and was accepted on Thursday, there's a chance we could do some work in the fall with the construction taking place throughout, we could potentially get it out for bid for late November, right? You think that's 6 weeks bid process?
Yeah, you can do it
Does that
in
include the-
less than 6 weeks.
Right.
Does that include the tree clearing for the initial?
Well, the initial would probably be
Scope?
the tree clearing, the road construction, and,
Okay.
get the area stabilized.
Because ideally, fall, late fall,
mean,
early winter, we get into tree clearing. It's a good time to do it.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the things we bounced around a little bit is instead of putting in rolling grass so it's ready in the spring, right? Spend a little bit more, but we need fields, especially next year, and you spend a little bit more, you'll have fields ready to potentially use. You may not have the fence fully there, but there would be a usable field for soccer, for
How
kids
did you
soccer.
get a field so quickly?
It's rolled grass. It's
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's
You're
more
talking about
expen-
roll it late in the spring, the fall rather.
right.
Okay.
If we could get, it's a tough time plan.
Timeline.
Yeah, timeline. So I'm not saying it's gonna happen, I'm just
Okay.
saying we're looking at the possibility if everything fell into place. We've been disillusioned many a time, so we'll be talking about the same thing next year at this time. but-
Yeah. Jimmy, put the pipe down.
All right.
Very good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Jim, thanks for all your
Thanks.
efforts on this.
Yeah,
And
no problem.
again, tell your board we appreciate all their time and effort.
Appreciate it, thank you.
All
All
right.
right, thanks, buddy.
Chairman to sign.
All right. What next? Get this done. Minutes of August 25. Entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
I don't know if this is the place. Yeah, it's not so much with how the minutes are worded, but it's to do with page 4, the old business food truck regulations. And I noticed, and last week, I remember Mike saying that the committee has met. But my notes from the meeting that we had earlier in August, I wrote down on that we hope to appoint a committee by next meeting. I put on a hold on it. And I mean, I'm happy to see some progress going ahead. I think we need to, but I'm a bit confused because I'm not seeing in the minutes of August 4th that we appointed the committee. So I guess, I think Mike has got people together and working on it, that is good, but I think we need to clear that up. I don't know whether you want to do it later today.
Did we appoint?
Because
I'm trying to remember.
I've got the minutes
No, I don't think
from
we
there.
appointed a committee, but
Do we need
They
to
were-
appoint one?
the committee was working on the regulations.
Right.
The committee is part of the regulations.
See, it says,
think
Miss,
that was-
this is from August 4th, and it says, Mr. Farrell, I think it was to work with departments listed to go over the regulations and bring back at the next meeting, which I think is what you're probably doing. I just wanted am I confused on this? I mean,
Well, maybe I
you're
put
working
food-
with what probably would be the committee, but we never really did
don't
appoint a
have-
committee.
I could change that to just the department heads,
Yeah,
department heads or,
okay.
Well, like I say, I'm happy to see something being done. I just I didn't want to wait.
Stakeholders, whatever.
yeah, and I probably, committee, we didn't officially make
Yeah.
a committee, because
Yeah.
that's
Oh.
part of the regulations, which we haven't
We're gonna have
accepted
to,
yet.
once we get the regulations going, then appoint the committee, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At
Yeah, we
some
haven't
point,
done
we
that
probably,
first.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying, at some
Okay.
point, we need to
So
make the decision.
Why don't we change
Is
it
this-
from committee to stakeholders?
Is this what we're gonna But like I say, it's not so much, I just wanted to be sure, I'm not confused, and we didn't really actually
No.
appoint a committee.
No.
That's, so, cause that's the way it sounded last week, like we
Okay.
had a committee. So I would say just keep going forward and working, and
Okay.
at some point when we go over the regulations, we'll decide what we're gonna do with the committee. If
All
we're
right, so
gonna
do we
keep it
wanna-
as is, or,
Do we want to change this word committee on this,
I don't,
on page 4, to stakeholders or department heads?
well, it's basically what we got said, I think, last week. I think it got
Maybe
said that
say
he was
committee.
working with the committee,
Committee,
Okay.
yeah, no.
but,
That's fine.
I
so,
could
I
just
mean-
change committee and take food truck, it's just a committee that
you know,
is put together to work on them.
That's fine.
I mean,
could-
if
we
you
could
change
have
it, you'd be changing what actually happened, which I don't think is
Okay.
the correct thing to
So
do. I
let's-
mean, we just need to note that we actually don't have a committee. He's working with department heads,
Okay.
I guess.
All right, so, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Did we have a, yeah, we did
Yeah,
have a
we
motion,
did.
yeah.
All right, thank you. Renewal of the ban for capital items, which is item number 3 here. Mike, you wanna give us a quick one on this?
Yeah, this is all about cash flow. We haven't gotten our reimbursement yet from MSBA. They owe us $3 million. And it's been since June. It's not necessarily all MSBA, but we weren't getting the proper budget accounts to put the money in at the beginning. We weren't getting the signatures we needed in a timely manner. And now it's the MSBA has been sitting on it for probably a month. And we have a lot of cash outflow. The Pembroke School still is burning a lot of money. And we're starting to burn a lot of money on the middle high school design project. We've been asking for well, we have a cash flow estimate, but it's been woefully inadequate. They told us we'd be spending about $34,000 a month. It's been more than double that. And
Just because of the speed at which the project's moving along, or because it was just poorly forecasted?
I think it was poorly forecasted. So we've asked them to re-forecast it because it's not,
You talking about DRA
yes,
or the OPM or both?
both.
Okay,
We deal directly with our OPM.
yeah,
And Mary does on a
yeah.
almost daily basis. And now we have the turf field going under construction. And that's gonna be a real quick one. It's gonna be a 60 to 90 days. We were trying to get a cash flow statement from that engineer, and they were unable to provide us one, but we know it's gonna be quick. So, these bands, bond anticipation notes, have come due, so we have to redo it again. We went out to bid. They're good for a year. The last time we went out to bid, it was 0.6% interest, and the bid came in at 0.55, so interest rates actually have gone down. But we need to get these bond anticipation notes out there so we have the cash flow. Once we go out the bond, then we'll pay the notes off. And we won't be going out the bond until after the first of the year for any of these projects. The regulations state that if you do more than $10 million in one calendar year, you, well, actually, I think they don't, you can't issue any additional tax exempt notes, so we'd have to pay a taxable rate, which would be.
If you're over the 10?
Yes.
Okay.
So, you know, we did do the 20 million, so we're well over the 10 million. And so Jackie has recommended, and I agree, that we hold off until the first of the year to do any further bonding.
Okay.
Question?
Yes?
So by that, cause I'm thinking, that, you know, these bond anticipation notes don't come cheaply, but it's worth it to do it because you'd get a better bond value by waiting till next year, if I'm hearing correctly.
That's part of the reason. And I mean, we're talking $344,000 at half, you know, 0.55%, so
Right.
they are pretty inexpensive.
Very inexpensive. Because we would be paying a higher rate if we bonded the money now and sat on it. So it'd be costing us a lot more. It'd be costing us probably, what, 3.5% versus 0.5%? Right.
No, it'd be probably 4 or 5%.
What was the last one we had? Was it 3.5?
It was 3.5, but
Okay.
that was tax exempt.
Okay.
These, if we issued them before January 1st, they wouldn't be
It
tax
w-
exempt.
Okay. So it would cost us more in the long run anyway, significantly more.
And that would be for 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
But, is there anything that we can do perhaps to find out what the problem is? I mean, is a good part of why you're having to do this is because you're not getting the money from the state?
Yes,
That the majority of it, you think?
$3 million.
So if you got the $3 million from the state, we wouldn't be having to do this.
Probably not.
And we just gave the state a break.
Exactly.
I
was waiting for that one.
Something dollars.
I was waiting for that.
Well, I'm sorry, I mean, it's.
I hear you.
I
It's a
mean,
one-way street with the state, right? Mike, is there anything we can do anything MSB, the school building committee can do to speed it
a
up? Or,
state legislator or senator should.
yeah, or
Mm,
Mr. Mira or Mr. Tar or anybody to help us?
I don't think so. It was a combination, a multiple combination of things. There's no one. You know, the MSBA is slow to begin with, and they didn't get the signed documents in time to even begin their slow process.
Which was our responsibility?
It was the,
Ours, meaning all of us.
yeah, you know, in talking with Mary, the biggest holdup was with the OPM.
Not getting everything to MSBA that needed to be?
Well, not getting the account numbers that Mary needed to put into the
Documents.
pay
and-
system,
Okay.
and not getting signatures in a timely manner.
If I get, like, this is reading that you got this on the 14th, and I mean, we've had a meeting since then, so I mean, were we trying to figure out what we're doing, or? I mean, I guess one of the questions is, why didn't we act on this 2 weeks ago?
No, that was just at Jackie's letter, letting us know that, email that she was gonna have them for today.
Yeah,
This meeting.
we just got them last week.
I just got them from Jackie this
No,
morning.
but I mean,
Long.
the thing is dated that, with a timeline, and it's dated August 14th. This is the timeline that they would be going, the bids were gonna take place on 9/3. So I mean, we could have known about this at our last meeting. I guess is what I'm saying. At least it looks like it.
The documents be signed by the town clerk and majority of the selectmen by 9/9.
But we didn't, our financial advisor had to go through their process to get the notes, bid them out, and complete the paperwork. We're doing this
I get,
as quickly as possible.
Okay. So it's not necessarily a holdup on our
No,
end.
no, far from
Because
it.
then they have to go in and get the documents done correctly. and
Gary, if
printed
I,
and all
am I understanding that your question is why weren't we made aware of this in our last meeting so we could chew on it a little or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, we might have been
I mean, I
able
get-
to contact a legislator or someone, and, I mean, you know, it never can hurt, I mean,
that. Uh-huh.
So that's the question, right? So in our last meeting, you know, should we have been made aware of this? That's all. I think that Gary's getting at. And at that point, you're saying that you didn't have enough information to really have a meaningful conversation with us?
No, but we had made the decision, we were going, we needed to go out to bond.
Yeah.
The treasurer makes that decision to ban.
But Gary
And we
is
held off as long as humanly possible.
to see if the MSBA would actually come through and pay.
Yes. Mhm.
Right. So I think, Gary, I'm not putting words in your mouth, but it sounds like to me, it's, if we had a couple extra weeks, could we have done something to try to influence the MSBA to give us that money? Am I putting the right words in your mouth?
I guess that's sort of what I'm looking at. I mean, like I say, I mean, this is a timeline that came in on August 14th, and it's talking about bids taking place on 9/3, so, I mean, this timeline's been here, and I just think that, you know, we might have, as you said, we might have known about it at our last meeting also.
So Mike, if the.
That's all. I mean,
Yeah, no, I completely understand what you're saying. So Mike, in your opinion, or if I hear incorrectly, even though you were made aware of this, it sounds to me that you did no confidence that whether or not we even knew about this 2 weeks ago, that we would have any influence on the MSBA to actually,
I don't see how
yeah.
they can be influenced. They're a separate entity under the treasurer's office. They're pretty quasi-independent. And
Yep.
they don't answer to politicians.
Well, when we were going for the improvements and everything, I think we always had a politician there to help us with them somewhat, so, that, you know, it could perhaps go both ways.
Mike,
It's all right, I mean, it's, if we have to do it, we have to do it.
question is, in your opinion, do we need to have a conversation with our OPM? I mean, we don't have a school building committee meeting tomorrow as we normally would, but we may want to have a meeting with,
Yeah, because we're in this for another year, and we can't, you know, be going out to ban every time. We have to have, you know, the cash has got to flow, and it's not flowing.
if you were looking at it right now, is it mostly because the MSBA is held up, and the MSBA is a little bit held up because the OPM didn't have all this stuff on the front end as quickly as we might have liked it and needed it?
Yes.
Okay. So we really need to have a discussion with the OPM and the school building committee.
Well, the school building committee needs to, have that conversation.
So, will you do me a favor? Will you outline for me some of that timeline and some of those issues so I can communicate those to Ellie and Michelle?
Sure.
And we can have a discussion, because we're not having a school building committee tomorrow, but the following Tuesday or the Tuesday after that, we'll be having one. So if you could just, as accurately, factually, and simply as possible, just outline for me chain of events and issues, and any, just highlight for me any issues that, you know, you have based on the cash flow side of things and the schedule, that I can bring up, and we can make sure it's on the agenda for our next school building committee.
Well,
Thank you.
Sure, just a question, Mike, what's the, how much are we going, what's the value of the bond?
it's only 334,000. 344,806.
Is that, you're comfortable with that? That's enough to,
Jackie and Mary are comfortable with it,
Okay.
and then I'm comfortable with
if
it.
they're comfortable and you're comfortable, or I'm
I
comfortable
mean,
with it.
it's the
Everybody's
least,
comfortable.
least amount that
Yeah.
is necessary.
Yeah. Okay.
So you need a motion here to renew the bond anticipation note for capital items that are payable 9/19/2014.
For 344,600, right?
Actually, by the regulations, we don't need a vote, we just need signatures
Okay.
on the bonds.
Okay.
on the
And they're
bonds.
downstairs, or do you have them
I
here?
brought them up.
Okay.
There's only,
Is this one of them ones where you need 3 or 4?
we need a majority.
Majority of the
Okay,
board.
not the
Board.
super majority. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we don't need a motion, we just need signatures?
One more signature.
I've already signed, so did
I think I did.
you sign, Phil?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Gary.
All right, I got you.
Sign your life away, baby. Want me to hold?
Now,
hold
wait a
your-
minute,
Hold your hand?
there's something I wanna bring up later.
Okay, bring it up later. All right, moving on. Miscellaneous surplus property declaration. A 6-foot folding table from the selectman's office. Thank you, sir.
Chair, I move that we accept the surplus declaration of personal property for the 6-foot folding table submitted by our town administrator as submitted.
All right. Do I have a second?
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Need this signature. Okay, that's done. Just some notes here, correspondence. We've got, we mentioned this last board meeting. We've got an open house at Camp Dennison. So it's Open House Family Day. It's a free event. It's Saturday, September 20th from 11:30 to 3:30. Face painting, Irish step dancing, hot dogs, ruined by the Board of Selectmen.
Yours are, mine weren't.
Balloon animals, kids' airplanes, pumpkin painting, paper rockets, live music, and much more. So mark that on your day, September 20th. Board of Selectmen will be grilling hot dogs, so you can come up and say hi, and we hope you guys will visit Camp Dennison on September 20th. Next, under old business, adoption of volunteer email policy. That's number 7. So there's a draft here that Mike had put together, which is a draft memo to town employees and board members. We'll just call it town employees because that includes the volunteers. The draft is behind it. I've read through it. I don't have any questions on it. Mike, was this, the only question I have is, was this pulled from some other K&P template that they have with other towns or anything? Do you know?
This came from the DOR.
It did, okay. And that's basically what most of the towns are
They
using.
recommend that
Okay.
towns adopt something very similar to this.
Okay, and that's where this template came from?
Yes.
This draft, okay.
Yes.
All right, that's the only question I had on it. Any questions, gentlemen?
Mike, I read through this, and for the folks who are watching this, it's incidental personal use of town's email systems while not encouraged is permissible at the discretion of the selectmen. Personal use must not interfere with employees' work performance and must not violate. We have to come up with, I mean, this is their language, right? So we
They're
have,
just being realistic.
they're really bringing it at the discretion. So we give them so if we, I wasn't clear, if we give them an email address and they choose not to use it, what's the teeth in non-compliance, or is there?
Well, yeah, you had asked that at the last meeting, and I had a long discussion with the legal counsel. He didn't want to put it in writing, because if somebody did violate
He was
it,
using his own email.
no, because if somebody did violate it, then he would be hard pressed to defend, the policy, because this, you're creating a public record every
Right.
time you email.
Yep.
And the volunteers will now be doing that. Well, they've been doing
They've
it.
been doing it, but on their personal email.
And we had no way of producing that public record if requested. And if the volunteers delete it, they're destroying public record. And there is a criminal penalty and a civil penalty. The criminal penalty is a fine of, I guess this hasn't been updated in a long time, $10 to $500,
Yep.
and with up to 1 year in jail, and then additional monetary civil penalties. But, you know, this way, we will have both ends of the conversations. There shouldn't be any official discussions. They're not supposed to have deliberations all it really should be for is,
Communication.
well, setting up meetings, I can make it, you make it, that type of things.
Right.
And dispensing official documents that they would
Yep.
be using for meetings.
Right.
But if, you know, somebody under the public records made a public records request, we will now have the ability to provide those public records.
Right. So if we approve this policy, then there's actually teeth with the criminal and civil penalties. And everyone will get an email account who is a volunteer, or committee member, or board member, or department member, et cetera, et
Yes,
cetera.
we have, we went through all the boards and we can create 90 new emails.
That's enough
Is that
to,
enough?
Yeah, yes,
okay.
it is. And another thing is that the real expense would come to the town, because if we get a court order,
Right,
we
we'd
had
have to pay for
we
the
would have to do a
services.
forensic
Yep.
study of the people, all the computers would be impounded, they would be, I mean, this happened in Boston, I don't see it happen here, it had to do with, there was a major case just a couple years ago with the Boston Redevelopment Authority, and this one individual, or I think it was the executive director, he just routinely deleted his emails.
Right.
And Boston didn't have a good system of capturing them. So they had to do a forensic study, and at great cost to the city, to recover all the emails. When all is said and when all was said and done, nobody got put in jail, nobody lost their job, but the city of Boston had a huge bill.
Okay. When would you want to implement this? Assuming it was accepted this evening, how much time do you want to do this at the beginning of next year? You want to do this before the?
No, as
before that?
soon as possible. Our IT people are ready to build the emails, and we'll send them out to everybody either through whatever email we have. They'll be able to access the email through the Exchange server as you do.
That's public web access.
The, once we get these emails, can we update the website so at least the chairperson
We'll be able to
of
put
the particular
everybody's.
boards, or are you gonna list everybody's email on the
Everybody's
website?
email should be
could-
there.
No, I agree, but if it was problematic, I mean, at least the chairman of the committee that, you know, has email access on the website.
Well, here's
So
the
people can
problem
communicate.
with listing the emails. Everybody then will be subject to massive spam.
Right,
Because spammers go through websites
Yeah, they
looking
crawl
for
it.
emails.
yeah.
Great, just make it the chair then.
We would make
You could do a link.
a link,
Okay.
yes.
For everybody or just chair, are you thinking?
I think at this point, just the chair on the
On the board.
website.
Okay,
We'll be able to contact everybody.
yeah.
And I think that would be a good thing, because we can notify everybody of changes in the
Yep.
regulations and the
Anything.
laws, and you know, just keep them better informed.
Much more
of what's
streamlined,
going
better,
on
better overall
in the
communication.
town.
Okay, but absolutely chairs, boards, town website will have links so that constituents can communicate directly to them via email. Because currently, most of them don't have anything listed.
That's right.
So
They have-
people
they
don't know
have
how to get in touch
They
with
have to
everybody.
call town hall, and
Right.
we facilitate the communications.
Right.
Now we won't have to do that.
No more horse and buggy, huh? Okay, did you have any questions?
I'm just still trying to get a hold of the chairperson thing versus, so all board members will have access to it. But, so what is it that just the chairperson?
Outside
On the
individuals.
website, so georgetownma.gov, if you click on, say, planning board,
Mhm.
and right now, if you click on that, it says typically when they meet, you know, who the
Yeah.
members are, but there's no way to contact the members unless you call the planning department. So what this would do is have a link, says click here to email the chairman of the planning
Okay.
board. Boom, you click through that, it opens up to the email.
Internally would have everyone's
Yes.
email address, or at least the boards and committees would have the emails.
That way constituents from the outside on the website can go to a particular board and communicate with the
Can go to the
chairperson via
chairperson.
email.
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay.
Is there a director?
But then internally, everybody that's on those
If I go to
boards will
Outlook,
have their own email address.
Outlook
But those
Web
won't be
Access.
listed on the website.
It's
Just the
not
chairman.
published, no. No email directory, is there? We just have who's on the boards. There's a directory of who's the board
Yeah,
members.
who the board members are, but there aren't
No, I mean on
generally
the
emails.
Exchange server. So if I do a Mike Farrell, it will do a search on the directory itself? Or
We do, yeah, in Outlook,
Yes, yes.
there's a,
I don't have to save everyone as a contact? It's a directory that you can look up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, that would be.
Ugh.
I mean, there's an address book and
Yeah.
and it has,
I only have
Listing,
like
oh.
us, so I know everyone as contacts as well,
Now-
so.
but everybody will be the same as first initial, last name, and then at georgetownma.gov. So another is just as long as you know someone's
Assuming I know
name.
90 people and everyone's names and how to spell their last names.
No, I mean, we'll still have it,
That's
but I
good.
mean, that's another way, just
Yeah, yeah,
for people
that's
to
cool.
remember. I mean, we've done
Oh, I
it
think
consistent, so everybody is first initial, last name.
Super.
and,
Question on filing and that, will a person be able to create their own files? Well, right now
Just
I
gonna
get,
be email.
yes, but right now I get emails from CPC, from Economic Development, from Board of Selectmen, so I have a file for each one so that I can put each one into that particular file.
You can create your
Okay.
own files.
Yeah, you can
Yes.
create your own
Yeah,
file.
they'll have
So
Outlook.
within this, you'll be able to
Yeah.
do that. That's
Yes.
okay.
What,
That's-
Microsoft
that's-
Outlook?
That's
Yes.
the question.
Yes, it will be.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can create like any file name you want and drop those emails from that
Okay.
committee or whatever into it.
And what you're saying is, but none of this can be deleted.
It's not supposed to be, but if it ever is, we have a backup.
It's backed up, so.
Okay,
We
that's-
tell
that's what you're
people they
looking
should
for.
assume all emails are public record,
Yes.
when in fact, not all, you know, if the emails for,
Well, as you say, if somebody gets a court order to request it, it now becomes public record.
It's public record to start
It's
with,
technically
Yes.
public record from the get-go.
But you,
but you have a record of it in
Well,
case someone
okay,
deletes
let
it.
me-
It's stored on a
I
central.
can think of one time, since I've been on doing this, that I came across something where somebody was looking for it. And typically, they also make it so expensive that the person doesn't wanna do it anyway. So is that still there, even though it's public record? Or would somebody be able to say, I wanna come in and look at them? They're there, I wanna see them on the computer.
I'm lost.
they have
and
to
you-
ask, you don't just come in and say, I wanna see every email this person ever
You
sent.
gotta do a FOIA request, right?
You have to say what you're looking for
Mhm.
and a time period
Yeah.
You don't have to say why, but you have to be specific in what you're requesting.
Yeah,
And then we could print out those records, right?
Yes.
but at a cost of
Yeah,
such
they'd
and
have
such for all
the
of that.
time it
yeah.
would take, as
So I mean,
any.
that's really not changing, I mean,
That's correct. Yeah.
I guess that's what I'm saying.
Mhm.
These emails are not out there that the public can just go on and see everyone's email.
No,
No,
no.
no, they're secure.
But it's retained for public record purposes.
Yeah.
And backed up. Okay. Any further?
So this came right from DOR language, which is fine. So I move to accept the electronic messaging acceptable use policy for the town of Georgetown as presented.
I suppose you're looking for a second on it.
I'm looking for a second for a mister. If not, I can second.
I'll second.
All right. If not, I'll do it. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
All in favor, 3-0. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, this is good. This has been
Yeah, this is good. We'll
one
be
of my
able to,
sticklers for at least 5 years now, and this is fantastic.
we finally got it going. All right,
20th century.
yes. We are on item, or number 8 in our agenda here. And let me find that. So, I would enter, this is a middle high school, project. It's a vote that we need for authorizing, the town to be bound by the project funding agreement and authorizing the signatory. So I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to ratify, validate, and confirm that the chairman of the Georgetown Board of Selectmen is authorized to be the signatory and execute the project funding agreement with the Massachusetts School Building Authority for the Georgetown Middle High School project.
All right, do I have a second?
You have a second.
Thank you, sir. Any further discussion or questions?
Yeah, it was later, I told you later, remember
Okay, that's
earlier
it?
on
All
that
right.
other thing, yeah.
Yep.
We discussed, I can't remember where it was, but my memory tells me that it was at the meeting that we had at the school before our annual town meeting. And we had some discussion on this project. And you, as you know, I was somewhat disappointed that this did not get done within budget, that we had to ask the voters to go out. And I believe it was at that meeting that we'd had some discussion, and I think David brought it up, about the possibility of not taking the 2.5% increase in the next budget season. Am I the only one who
we had-
remembers that?
For the middle high school?
I believe you were, I think you might have been late at that meeting, but I think you were there. No, this was for the high school, and this was, I take it, this is what this is about, right? This is the high school project?
It's the 3-8, right?
Yes.
That
3.8.
we voted on. And so all what I'm saying with, you know, with the discussion that Mike had on the budget last week, that we've got some free cash and that I wanna keep it open and keep discussing about it as the next finance season comes up. Can we possibly not take the 2.5% increase and give the taxpayers a bit of a break? I know we've discussed it at one point, like I say, it's, that's where my mind is taking me back.
The 16 budget?
Yeah, our next budget season that
Yeah.
we'll be working on in a few months.
Yep.
I mean, I
anything's-
believe the 2.5% increase right now, Mike, if I'm right, was just about what we borrowed. It's typically, was it somewhere around 300,000 is sticking in my mind, plus or
Yeah,
minus.
250.
It's more than that now,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
But-
more like 400,000.
So I'm not saying not saying it's doable, but what I'm saying is that we had some discussion on it, and that I wanna keep it open, and perhaps that finance knows about this,
Yeah,
and see if we can do it.
see if
I mean,
FinCom
you
can
know, because
take a look at it.
you know, Mike had the budget update last week, and so what do we do with it? is this time when everybody gets online and says, I want a chunk of the free change that's left, or do we perhaps
Well,
try to move forward and see if we can give the taxpayers a break?
I'm all about, finding a golden opportunity. Trust
Yes.
me.
Yeah.
I think, I'm open for the conversation, and we'll have to just keep watching our budget to see what happens. And the biggest issue too is it's not so much our spending, which is a component of it, but it's also, as our operating costs go up, forget about these capital projects for a moment here, as our operating costs go up, the increase that we get from the state and all the different sources is just not keeping par with increases that the state's
Phil,
going.
I understand all of this. I'm not trying to, I'm just trying to say if we stay open-minded about it, and if finance stays open-minded about it, it possibly could be done. I mean, I was somewhat upset, almost to the point. I think I mentioned this after the town meeting where I almost called the Attorney General's office. I know I talked to Mike about it because there was some real misstatements made there about the budget and about, and it wasn't flat. It hasn't been flat. There were, increases in employees. Board of Selectmen, we were responsible for one of them. And so if we go into this year's budget season thinking that, let's try to hold the line, maybe we can do it.
Mhm.
But someone's gotta start the discussion,
All right.
and we have started it, and I'm saying I don't want it forgotten.
Well, let's, why don't we do this on our next meeting? Maybe if the chairman of the FinCom can be here, we can have that discussion with him, because it's the right time to have it, because another couple months, we're gonna be talking about budgets, so.
Well, not even then, with, once this free cash gets certified, we'll be talking, we've got a fall town meeting coming up, where sometimes that's where we put some of that into
Mhm.
capital, we put some of it into the stab fund.
Yep.
So I'm saying, but let's think further down the road before we do
Yep.
all of those
Okay.
things. We've got the new account that's open, that I don't think we put anything in yet, right?
The trust,
50,000.
We did put some in that.
what,
The
the
first
OPEB,
year.
the OPEB trust or whatever?
OPEB trust,
Yeah.
is that what
Okay,
you're talking about?
yeah, okay,
First year, yeah, we didn't put anything in last year,
Correct.
okay.
Right.
So,
when we opened it that next
and I know many of these
town
funds.
meeting, I think we put it in.
Many of these, believe me, you all know, especially capital and that, I'm
You're
very
deep in it.
encouraging about putting some in there.
Yep.
But let's not just look at this fall, all I'm saying is, what can we do,
Gotcha.
what can we do next year also?
Okay.
So, thank you.
Could you put a request out to FinCom chair to join us next meeting?
Sure.
Just to have preliminary discussions and kind of tee them up on what we're talking about here? Would you mind? All right, we have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, gentlemen. So if you have some specifics on that, just for our next meeting, just kind of connect with Mike on that, so we can tee up our
Well,
FinCom chair just on some of the discussion points.
You might be a little early there. I mean, until Mike, I think, gets the free cash certified and we actually know what we've got to work with, I think it's gonna help us more. But then again, on the other hand, it's never too early to get started.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is I think it just,
So-
it'd be great to, just to get started with it and have that discussion early, and then we can have it often.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? All right.
And I'm not up for the reelection next year, so, it's
Well, appreciate you bringing it up. What am I missing here? I think I have that. Selectmen meeting under the Selectmen's report. Mike, anything that we need to go over on the DOR? financial management review, nothing really, I mean, there's some things we want to revisit there, but I'd really like to have the whole board, but we don't have the whole board, so we'll pass over that. Last meeting, I had mentioned to everybody to put this selectmen meeting starting time for discussion tonight, to see if we could start at 6:30, maybe instead of 7. That way it would get Mike and Janet out a little bit earlier. You need that one as well, sir. Generally speaking, I can make a 6:30. Not always, but most of the time. So you two gents need to know if that would work for you. It works for Mike and Janet, obviously, and I talked to Steve and Dave about it, and they both said generally they could make a 6:30 meeting as well. So it would set us a half an hour earlier, hopefully get us out a little bit earlier, and get Mike and Janet out for sure a little earlier. So any issues, would you be able to make 6:30 Board of Selectmen meetings versus 7? Or is there any problem?
I
making
don't
that
think
cut?
you'll have a problem with me personally. The concern that first comes to me is with the public. Is it enough time for if somebody wants to come before us and that to come, you know? I don't know, you know, meetings are typically at 7, some have them even a little later at 7:30. So now if you're bumping it up a little, that's more where my time lies. And then again, if we were to have executive sessions, do we want to have them before or after? I personally feel they should be after, because
Well, we certainly could have them after.
just for the announcement purposes, so that,
Yep.
you know, the public knows that we had a meeting and at least somewhat what it was about. So like I say, I think you know I'll be here when you have the meetings. You can, but
Okay.
how is it for the public? I guess that's more my concern.
Okay. Phil?
You know, I think I'm one of those crazy commuters that have that hour and a half commute. And I work in Waltham, so while I do work from home Mondays, I tend to be in the office more. I'd make it. I mean, I'd be inclined to try it and see if that impacts what Gary said and us. We can always move back, but if we don't know until we try it.
Okay.
So if I get any speeding tickets, I'm going to give it to you. But yeah, I'd try. I'd be happy with that.
Okay. Do we need a vote to do that, or not necessarily?
No, I just schedule it.
No.
No. Okay. I hear your concern. That was my thought too. For anybody watching, you know, the good news is that we do have the cable station here, so you can watch it live from a computer anywhere or your smartphone if you have a smartphone, and then they are generally posted, I think, the next day or
Usually we play the next morning at either 9 or
at 9
9:30.
o'clock. They're
Yeah.
on the cable rerun, but then on demand, if you go through georgetownma.gov and then click on the cable station, they render them pretty much directly down, I think, to YouTube as we're taping. So usually in less than 12 hours or so, I think, they have them available for replay. And it may be, I don't know, because I haven't talked to Janet about it. Or I'm sorry, Janet. Sorry.
No, that's Jan.
Janet. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. I got too many. But you can. Generally, I think it's within 12 hours, but we can follow up on that and let everybody know. But you can hit a search and be able to pull up meetings by date, topic, board, things like that through Georgetown's website on the cable icon. So if you open up the website, georgetownma.gov, top sort of left corner, there's a GCTV icon. You click on that, and then you start navigating through there. You can find replays and also click on it for live.
I had no idea.
Yeah. So it's pretty good. I mean, I've loved it because, you know, I've been away from, town and been, you know, and not able to participate or come, but I could watch a, you know, different board meeting
I
or
don't have to
something.
fill my
something like
DVR
that.
full of hours and
Right.
hours of this
Yeah.
entertainment.
Exactly, you don't have to do
I
that.
got mine on my bookmark.
Yeah.
It goes right to it.
There you go.
Yeah.
So that's the good news. So I think, you know, I'd like to try it, and are you guys game for trying it the next meeting? Our next round, 6:30 instead of
Yeah,
7?
yeah. And, you know, I think as far as the
That's an
public goes too, you know, like, we could do more correspondence and
Right, the
minutes and that, and then
administrative
that
stuff,
would still,
Oh yeah, we
allow the
could definitely
public
delay until
around,
people
but-
get here for
yeah,
7 if we
so-
needed to, because
Yeah.
we usually have enough in the backlog to be able to do that.
Mhm.
So okay, we good with that? Next round, if you'll let everybody know, just when you send the agenda out.
You guys really want to go home earlier?
When you send the agenda out, if you can just very boldly in the headline say, new meeting time, 6:30, not 7.
might be in my coveralls or something, you know. but that's-
It's okay. You'll be here, though. That's what counts. Great. All right, so we'll try it, and if it's working, great. If not, then we can always go back. Mike, anything on special town meeting updates?
Date locked?
27th
Seven.
of October.
27th, we're good for that. Checked with the moderator.
Yep.
She's good.
She's okay? All right. Janet was okay with that. I think we had asked her before, right? Janice, rather. There I go again.
Confused me.
Yes.
Dyslexic fool. I am.
Yes, she already reserved the school. No,
Okay.
Beverly's aware.
Okay. My question is this. We struggle, well, for pretty much all the town meetings. But is there something we can do drastically different in advance of this town meeting to pre-promote it so that we can get a forum there instead of having to struggle and then the night of it, 7:05 we're doing the whatever, the red alert calls and this and that and the other thing.
Well, what I've been working on, it's not ready for prime time yet, but, and I think we could institute parts of it as we go along, but I would like to come to the board with a communications policy, utilizing social media as the backbone of it.
I'm in.
From a Facebook or Twitter, all of it,
all of the
whatever.
above.
We should
Okay.
have our own Facebook. I know the police department has their own Facebook account, right?
There are public record issues, with comments and things like that.
Yeah, well, blocking posts and
They
whatever.
have to be monitored, if you're having forums, but,
I could see Stu up at 2 and 3 in the morning, looking through everything and making sure it's all clean.
And then hit send.
In the spirit of government transparency and just overall good communications, and we continue to use, we have cable TV, that's a form of communication.
Mhm.
And email now. We could do email newsletters. And utilize the other forms of social media. And they have social media management programs
Right.
that you put it in and it goes out through all the different
Yep.
channels.
Yeah, like Hootsuite or whatever, and that way you
Right.
can schedule your postings. So, for instance, the police department or so, they do have a Facebook account and all that. They don't allow comments to be posted, so you can block comment posting on it. The question is, if we go that route, is who's going to do it?
That's always,
Over here, we have a communications department. I know years ago when I was on the cable committee that, had come to us, hey, can you guys do some of the website postings and take over the website and this and that and the other thing for the cable. So that definitely would be a good idea, and have some discussions, with the cable advisory board.
You were reading my mind.
Because they have, they've got the funding in there monthly. The good news is that since we have now two carriers, or two cable options in town, total subscribership has gone up, so the revenue has gone up, and the way we never got a report, but we just saw it from the revenue perspective. When we had Comcast, we had X revenue, we had Fios and Comcast, we saw a total lift in revenue. And the revenue comes from, on each subscriber, the PEG dollars that are on your cable bills. So when we went to two cable options in town, we saw a total lift in subscribership. And we weren't sure if one was going to, eat the other or not, and it turns out we actually got more subscriptions. So there has been more PEG money coming through, and this and that, and the other thing. I did put a request in to the Cable Advisory Committee, to the chairman, Chuck Davis, to have an agenda item to look into wiring the second floor conference room and the basement in this building. They said that they have the funds, capacity, and everything else to be able to do that. In the short term, they wouldn't be able to run live meetings on those two floors necessarily, but they can tape them and get them posted, and people can see them pretty easily. They wouldn't necessarily be able to run them on TV, but they could run them live downstream. So, if Concom was meeting on the second floor, somebody could, go into the website, like I was saying, and watch the Concom meeting live from the cable. But Mike, I'm totally on board with you on that. Just forwarding a little bit to the next item there, the open volunteer positions, Janet. In the letter that you have, and we'll get to that shortly, can you also make a nice big headline in that letter that we're going to talk about for the recruitment efforts that's going out in the electric bill in October? Put the date and time and place of town meeting and all that for fall, because that'll just give us another quick communication that'll go out to a lot of people as well. But my concern is that we always have that issue of a lack of quorum at town meeting, and at both town meetings generally. But it seems if we don't have a big school vote, then we have a lack of quorum usually in the spring as well as the fall. We always have a lack of quorum in the fall. And folks watching at home, what that means is we've got to have 100 registered voters at special town meeting in the fall and spring town meeting in order to hold a quorum to be able to hold town meeting. And so I'm just thinking if maybe the school can send out a notice. I know they hate paper and backpacks and stuff like that, but that's a real good communication method. Janet, like I say, in our newsletter, or our bill stuffer for October and the electric bill, include the date, save the date, town meeting, be there at 7, blah blah blah. And then I don't know. Obviously, we have the newspaper doing it. We've got it on cable. What else? We could maybe do a code red the week before or a few days before to remind people, and then maybe the day of. I hate to overuse code red, but it's a great communication vehicle.
I can bring something up on that, remember, go back to it.
Okay. On the code red stuff,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
just in general? And I don't know if there's any other, the other thing is on our website, georgetownma.gov, there is a sign up where you can sign up for emails for news. I signed up for it, but I've never gotten any news back on it. So that is what you were talking about, for doing a data collection or database, build a database of our citizens to be able to communicate back to them on just anything, particularly town meeting and stuff like that. If we can get that functional, that would be huge. I think this was probably 3 years ago I signed up for it. I put my email address in, but I've never gotten anything back from it.
Should send, the bills go out, snail mail.
Yeah, the water and the electric.
And tax bills, right?
Who
Property
sends the tax bill? Is that the assessor's office or the treasurer's office, tax
Treasurer's.
collector office, whatever.
Actually, it's the assistant treasurer's office.
That does it?
We have
Okay.
a service that does it for
Oh,
us.
okay. Is that similar to the thing, so we can put mentions in it or anything, or
Sometimes they can put on the bill, but you have to let them
do they do a
know
bill stuffer
in
in it?
advance, pretty much. I don't know when our next tax bill goes out, when is
January, right?
January.
Yeah, I think
Because we did 4 quarters instead of 2.
Yeah, they can put little reminders on them, but it does
Right on
have
the
to
bill.
be in advance by quite a bit.
Mm. Is that what you were thinking? Bill stuffer in those?
I don't know if we can put stuffers in.
But maybe a little note.
Can put like a little note on the bill, like a
Okay.
little.
Yeah, I still think that Twitter and Facebook are probably the most, I don't read emails anymore. I mean, I do, right, but I've got 2,000 unopened emails in one email account and another 2,000 in another, so
Yeah,
I just
right.
don't have time.
No, I know.
So, I still believe that if we're gonna make effort in anything, that social media is the best way to go. However, there are folks that don't use Facebook and don't, so it's a
And they have to sign
multi-pronged
up.
strategy, put it that way, but I think it's a good start. You know, and I've been kind of wary on the whole Facebook thing for a while, or just social media, until other communities have learned how to do it and understand the pitfalls and stuff. I know we're not necessarily an innovator when it comes to
Who was-
technology.
We had a gentleman from town come before us, remember? Where did we
Mm.
send him?
He's still out there. It's what's
I
his, like,
forget
web
what it was
service
called.
there?
Robo-
We said it.
I don't remember what it was called.
Rebo? or-
Rebo.
Yeah, Rebo, that's right.
Yeah, but I prefer. I have to look back. He's got some proprietary thing. I would be looking for something like Facebook.
I just remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the month, too, the virtual town hall, our website is having a conference that I'm gonna
It's-
go to, that's
Oh.
discussing.
When are they doing that? Soon?
It's the end of the month, it's out in Worcester, but it is discussing, Facebook and Twitter and social media. and-
We'll give you a quiz when you get back.
Are you going?
Yes, I have signed up to go.
Oh, good, okay. Do you want to see if one of our cable or Janet can go with
Yeah, I
you?
can see if there's still openings, yeah.
Yeah, would you check that out,
Yeah.
see if
She wants to go.
she could attend? I think that'd be probably a good call, you know? All right, so how does everybody feel? Can we do, for special town meeting, obviously the night of, at like 6:30, do a robocall, and then a couple days before a robocall, whatever we call it, a code red call? Is that problematic? Is it?
Stu, I'm all about using every and any means. I do get worried about this code red, using
Mm.
it for stuff that's not critical.
Mhm.
I was starting to get a few of these calls, and I'm for it, and I cringe a
Well-
little bit, saying this isn't what the purpose of this system is
If
for.
I may, is it possible, someone had mentioned, does it have to be code red or can we have a code blue?
Right.
Can we have a code blue call where we're really getting out information
Mhm.
and code red is really more for
Yeah, an emergency,
type
yeah.
of thing?
That's
Well,
true.
You
Public
know,
service
because-
announcement,
Right.
there's an emergency.
That's what
Yeah.
I mean.
One's just a municipal announcement, the other would be an
Different
emergency
options
announcement.
On the code red for,
Well,
Probably a
it's-
question for the chief, but
It's literally
Yeah,
just a message. right?
That's a question, yeah, I mean,
Yeah. It's a
I've
good
been
idea,
hearing
Gary.
that from people, they're like, you
Yeah.
know, pretty soon
Me
people
too.
are gonna be ignoring the code red
yeah.
because they really don't get emergencies on it. You
Right.
know, it's.
No,
more
you're right,
so-
you're absolutely
so
right.
Yeah.
You need, if you can, to at least be more specific and say this is a code blue public service announcement.
It's like the
So,
third tornado
If you could
warning,
find out, I
right?
mean, that's
Mhm.
why I wrote a note while you were on,
Yeah.
that's what I said I wanted to go back to.
Yeah.
I think we need to find out.
No, I heard the
if
same
that's
thing
possible.
from like all the water hydrant flushing and all that. People were starting to get a little like, whoa.
well, we sold the code red, the
The concept.
two
That's who's
utilities
paying-
pay
That's who's
for.
paying for
Mhm.
it, right?
Right.
So-
And it's supposed to be for, water main breaks,
Emergency.
electrical issues.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
It's when we,
No, that's cool.
parking at the school because of voting and stuff like that. I mean, it's a double-edged sword, that's all. And if there's a different way to do it that does not perceive as a non-emergency or an emergency, then
Can you
I
find
think
out from the powers that be?
Yeah, if there's a way we can do it, if it's a municipal announcement versus a code red, which is a true emergency, if we can make that designation on it, I think that would be huge.
Yeah. But if, you know, I'd like to see, we've talked about this, I don't know how many times, and Mike has given us thing. We need to discuss fall town meeting versus regular town meeting and what we're gonna have there too, because I hear at the different meetings you go to, some think, oh no, fall town meeting is supposed to be for planning things, or a spring town meeting should be just for financial, and then others feel totally opposite. Fall town meeting should just be a special meeting for things and not
Yep.
certain things that don't. So I think one of the things that we need to continue to go forward and work on is something for that. And then I've been here for a long time. Yeah, right now, some of them have been, we've been looking for people. I don't remember it as being as perhaps as often as you're thinking. Not that I wanna correct you, but I mean, I don't think we've had that much of a problem recently, but then that could be because the way you're gonna get them there is controversy. And that's what, unfortunately, when you're running
It's called
along.
ratings,
When
baby.
you're running along and everything's smooth.
Yeah. No one gives a
You know
crap.
you're doing a good job.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
you know, so
Yeah.
it's,
No, I know.
it's just like, I could start getting the daily news here every week to cover us if this board got more contentious, and we didn't, we
Should
get
we
along
start off
rather
with,
well.
like,
But
kickboxing or
yeah,
something?
I mean, that's what's gonna bring him in, that's unfortunate.
Make it Board of Selectmen meetings.
That's,
That'll get everybody watching, right? Yeah.
But, I do know now, and like you talk about the social media, and I do know, like, the daily news, I don't think that we reach out to them enough. I know that they will publish more stuff, I'm sure the Eagle Tribune, they're suffering and they don't have the reporters, I think, that they used to, but if, on the same idea, if we're getting someone to work with the social media, if we could have somebody that would send some stuff out to the newspapers, they would, I think they're happy to print it. Council on Aging does an excellent job with it. I mean, I'll see stuff in the daily news almost weekly, I think, from them. I mean, but I think that's about the only one that really uses it. But,
Yeah.
there are those tools there that some people still also use, so.
Yeah, I used to,
I've
I
often
used to do
wondered-
recaps for our board
Well,
meeting for the papers.
On
and-
WNPP, I listen to that in the morning, and it's only a 1 hour, I thought I got it right, but, now they have almost a weekly session, someone from the town of Ipswich is on there telling them what's going on in Ipswich. I don't know if the town is paying for that, or they're doing it for a public service announcement, because they have to do a certain amount of public service, but then I've thought about reaching out, trying to find out
Yeah.
if that's something they do with a public service, or if perhaps the town is just, if it's costing the town some money, I
Probably
don't
just
know,
doing it
but,
as what is it? Is it an interview segment?
It's, they have a shot, it might be a minute long, of so-and-so from the town of Ipswich comes on and tells you what some of the events are for the week and that.
Okay.
That's
part of their morning
about
show.
the only one, yeah, it's
Yeah.
on the, and then unfortunately, that morning show just got, I think, an hour shorter, so, but that might be a tool that's out there also. I mean, I don't know how many people listen to that station, but, it's, I'm the guy who likes to say, remember, it's not all electronic today. There still are some people who reading the newspaper and
Yep.
listening to the radio, and then.
Well, I think we
you've got
could
your
do a good
cable,
job
so-
getting that message out about town meeting,
Yeah.
in the newspapers.
Yeah,
You know,
and
all
like I
of
said,
them.
I don't remember it as being, hanging around that long. I do remember one particular, it might have been, was it 2 years ago, or I don't know, where we did have to wait, people start making the phone calls, get people in here, but
Mhm.
I can only really remember one instance recently.
Yeah,
We've
pretty
had a
much.
couple.
Pretty much every fall meeting we have to do it.
Yeah, we have
We'll
that.
have
Since
to
I've been
talk,
on,
we'll have
that's
to
4
come up
years.
with, we'll have to come up with something that's, you know, controversial, but not gonna cost the town any money, you know?
Yeah.
How can we do this stuff?
Another school.
Right,
Exactly, that's what I was saying. That's
I
it.
heard talk of that already,
Build
you know,
another school.
somewhere I heard, well, that will start on the high school next, come on now, please
All right,
stop.
let's build a senior center for 20 million bucks. That'll get
Well,
them going.
No, I don't think that'll be that controversial, except where you're getting the money from. I
Yeah,
think
well,
there's
you know.
people who love to see it and wanna see it, so,
Yeah, I know. All right. So,
you know, I'll be,
we'll keep pushing it. You know,
I don't know if I'm at the official retirement age, but later this month, I'll be at the, I can get my, you know, free pass from the national parks, you know, so I
yeah.
might be using that senior center before we know it.
For you. Well, we'll hopefully have that over at the Pearly.
I'm not even close to that, and I'm ready to go for myself.
I'll be at retirement age, but I'm not
Oh,
retired.
Join you
gosh.
guys, Senior Center, just
All right, so under appointments and approvals was item number 10, open volunteer positions. So Jan, in this letter, maybe down at the bottom, very bottom, on it, you know, we can put the whole save the date for town meeting, May 27th, date and time and all that jazz. And just let people know, you know, in your letter here, that it's important that we have 100 quorum at town meeting and this and that and the other thing. So this is all we got, huh?
You wanna run
Yeah, that's all I came up with.
with Doug?
Yeah, well, we're gonna
Okay.
pop him in there as
And I'm
well.
gonna be able to take one more off. We make that appointment.
Yes, because we have the registrar of voters on here. So just so people know what we're talking about, in October's electric bill, you'll be seeing a note from us and the town administrator's office about open positions on boards here in town. The great news is that we did this when was that, November, I think, the last one? We probably had twice as many positions, or 3 times as many positions. And we were able to fill quite a few positions. So there's a number of positions open right now: the ADA coordinator, a cable access TV committee member, a conservation commission member, a council on aging member, 4 openings on the finance and advisory board, hazardous materials coordinator, planning board alternate member, and a zoning board of appeals, 2 openings for an alternate member. So you'll be seeing that coming, and if you have any interest in serving, certainly get in touch with the Selectmen's office, Janet Pitano and or Mike Farrell, our town administrator. Gentlemen, I would entertain a motion to appoint to the registrar of voters. We have 1 opening. We had a gentleman come forward, so I would entertain a motion to appoint Doug Dawes, a Republican, for the registrars of voters, the Republican position that we have open, for a term to expire, what, 6/30 of 15, correct?
So moved.
Second,
Any discussion?
just to let people know that the chair of the town Republican committee is okay with this. She did reach out and try to find somebody, but she wasn't having any luck either, and so, you know, I think the committee's happy to have someone step forward.
Yeah, thrilled. And, all right, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, so Mr. Dawes, thank you for stepping forward. We appreciate it. And he needs to get sworn in or whatever, right?
Yeah, I'll have to do a paperwork up and you'll have to sign it.
Okay.
Or he could come in and get sworn in, and we could sign it after, either way.
So if they need him tomorrow, he can get paperwork done and go down and see Janet
They
at-
may do all right for tomorrow, because,
at the voting booth.
yeah, she's gonna be at,
He's gonna be at the voting booth all day
Right,
tomorrow.
The last reminder for that.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, state primary.
Tomorrow is a state primary, so 7A to 8P. Pembroke is where you're going to vote, and hopefully we'll have everybody, as many people as possible, come out. Anything else, gentlemen? Anything else to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to just remind the folks out there that the Georgetown Education Foundation Links for Learning Golf Tournament, which is an amazing event where we donate, based on the event itself, tens of thousands of dollars and hundreds over the last several years. At the Black Swan Country Club, it's a 1:30 shotgun tea time. It's a great event. It's a lot of fun, dinner, and just a good way to support your community. So if you are interested, you can go to the Georgetown Education Foundation website. Just do a search on that for Massachusetts. You'll see the links for learning and register. So Monday, September 15th at 1:30 p.m. So we hope to see you guys there. It's going to be a wonderful event.
All right, entertain a motion to adjourn for the evening.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Have a great night. Thanks, everybody.
Just